This is AJ, and I'm talking to Christina about the dangers of social media.
Yeah.
That's where we went with the interview today. But briefly, I just wanted to also touch on it's Christmas time
hmm
and some of the craziness that we get caught up in Christmas time. And I think everyone is so guilty of that, whether it's social media or just life. How do you relax and just chill? Because it's like about 3 weeks out from Christmas
Yeah.
now. Anything that you do personally to just keep it about
Yeah.
Jesus in
Yeah.
this season?
Yeah. I think for me, Christmas got really real for me specifically last year and the last couple years because I was not able to spend Christmas with my family specifically because in 2020, my parents invited the family member that violated me growing up to live back in our home, and so I, had moved out to where I live now in California in Thousand Oaks. And so last year on Christmas, I couldn't go home to spend with my family. And so I ended up spending it alone. And I ended up going to dinner with a couple of my friends that are missionaries up in the same area where I'm at. And this year for Christmas, to be honest with you, AJ, right before I went to Chile, I told the Lord, I said, I don't want to do Christmas this year, Lord, because I didn't want to be reminded of that loneliness. I didn't want to be reminded of the fact that I didn't have my family, to go home to. And the Lord spoke to me in that moment and just said, Christina, who else feels the way that you do? Who else is unseen at Christmas? What is the purpose of Christmas? Because for me, Christmas got really stripped down last year, where I realized it's not about the trees and the gifts. It's not about, the lights and the cooking. It's really about finding those who need to know that they're loved by the Lord. So even though it was a hard Christmas day last year, what the Lord did in that moment for me right before I went to Chile was, Christina, like in Luke chapter 2 of how the angels revealed themselves to the shepherds, the unseen people of the time, to invite them to see the Messiah. Find those this year at Christmas that are right where you're at, and remind them that they are seen and known and loved by the God of the universe. Because that's why he came. That's what Christmas is about. It's his birthday, right?
Yeah.
It's about and what is the gift of Christmas is the birth of Christ. And so my friend Maudie and I, we're doing a Whosoever's Christmas tour where we're going into women's rehabs and detention centers and women's prisons and sex trafficking recovery homes to remind these women that God sees them and loves them because they don't have families. They don't have anyone. They don't have anything. And so on that day, when they are reminded of that, they could be reminded of something greater, which is what God reminded me of last year, that he is the greatest gift. And so last Christmas, even though it was hard, I said, God, because I have you, I have everything because you're enough for me. And so to my friends out there, we could get so caught up in all of these things, which is awesome. The trees are awesome and the gifts and family, but find those this Christmas that don't have family, that don't have anywhere to go. You wonder why Christmas has a high suicide rate, because people feel hopeless and they're reminded of that. Find those that need Jesus, invite them to sit at your table, invite them to church, invite them to a Christmas gathering so that they can experience what the shepherds did in Luke chapter 2, the greatest gift of all, which is the birth of Christ, because that's really the only thing that's going to satisfy them.
Yeah, totally agree. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you for the interview today.
Thank you.
And excited for what's coming as well. This is AJ with Effect Radio. And real fast, we talked about dangers of social media.
Yeah.
But what is your social media?
Oh, it's or you could actually follow at the Whosoevers.
Oh, okay.
And you could find me from there because it's really long. But yeah, my last name's a lot of vowels. But if you follow at the Whosoevers, you could find me on
and
there as well.
For the person with the purple and blue hair. Sometimes it changes though.
Yeah, yeah.
So just colorful hair. Look for the unicorn.
Yes, yes.
This is AJ and this is Christina with Effect Radio.